Across Scotland, 6 farms are rewriting the future of farming. A story where nature and agriculture can thrive together. The Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust, partnering with PepsiCo, Scottish Agronomy and Nature Scot, are at the forefront of sustainable innovation. Shifts in land use and agricultural intensification are influencing biodiversity across Scotland, where farmland makes up 70% of the landscape. By balancing food production with habitat conservation, even small changes can drive significant positive impacts. The PepsiCo FAB Project has seen 6 farms within a 100 square mile area of Scotland in Fife and Angus adopt new and innovative measures to increase biodiversity on their farms, while still producing a sustainable and profitable crop, oats, the very oats that go into your morning bowl of Quaker Oats porridge.
So we have a grain shed which holds 11,500 tonnes of oats, and this will all go into Quaker Oats in Cooper for porridge, Oats So Simple, Scotch porridge, granola bars. This 11,000 tonnes will all end up in your tummy at some stage.
So the PepsiCo FAB project is funded by the Positive Agricultural Output Fund from PepsiCo UK, and it's basically a collaboration of different partners that are aiming to demonstrate how you can have productive farming alongside good environmental stewardship. So to do that, we have 6 farmers that we're working with spread across the east of Scotland, and at each of those farms we're working with the farmers to implement measures that are wildlife friendly but work within the farming system. Examples include wild bird seed mixes, pollen and nectar mixes, hedges, conservation headlands, but very much focused on things that work in each particular farming system. And the mixes are also designed to last for 2 to 3 years, which is quite different to the traditional 1-year mix, which a normal wild bird seed mix would be in situ for. Working with farmers is absolutely key. Farming covers about 75% of agricultural land in Scotland, and so we're not going to solve the biodiversity crisis by working with nature reserves alone. And so it's really important that we work with farmers to achieve everyone's desired environmental outcomes, because without them it's basically impossible.
Behind the success of these farms is the expertise of the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust, or GWCT. Their scientific monitoring and tailored advice have been pivotal in guiding nature-friendly practices across all 6 farms. The story first began at Balgonie near Glenrothes 12 years ago.
We've been involved in the whole project since 2017. PepsiCo came on board in 2021, having liked what we were doing here, and they felt that it was appropriate for them to get involved and see what we're doing with a view to funding it and with a view to rolling it out to a wider audience. What we wanted to do was just use cover crops to enhance biodiversity. That's it.
Using Balgonie as a blueprint, 5 other farms joined the project in 2021 and began to put measures in place there alongside their oat crops.
One of the most significant measures that we've been carrying out is not cutting our hedges. So this year, for the first time, we did not cut approximately 90% of our hedgerows. And for me, it's been quite illuminating in that it has visibly and also audibly produced more bird life and numbers of birds.
It's all been beneficial. I keep going on about the dialogue that we've managed to establish with Quaker and GWCT and Scottish Agronomy, Grainco. I just constantly think that that communication, that line of communication is so important nowadays. It's too easy to get bogged down doing the same thing over and again. And working in these projects has given us farmer to farmer learning. You know, we meet up with other growers in the project. Everybody's wanting to achieve the same things, but also we're farmers, everybody wants to have the best cover crop. You know, we want ours looking better than everyone else's, and because we're proud of what we do.
Other farms have branched out in new and more unusual ways. At Easter Rind near Perth, Finlay Hay and his father David planted an apple orchard and brought in honeybees, and then began growing a little-known Japanese berry, which could be the ultimate superfood, the honeyberry, known as hascat in its native country.
We wanted to bring a new product to the market, so everyone knows about strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, all these sort of things, and it was just something quite exciting to bring a new soft fruit to the market. We've all been growing the same crops for hundreds of years with the same methods and the same routes to market. This is something completely new and different. Pollinators are massive for us on the fruit crops here. The honeybees like pollinating the apples, whereas bumblebees are not interested. Whereas on the honeyberries, honeybees don't like them, so we need bumblebees. So what we did was we brought in some hives of bumblebees at the times we needed it, but we realised long term that's not very sustainable. So what we want to do is try and sow more wildflower mixes, try and build up the natural population so that we're not having to import bees, we can keep our own natural population going.
Gilston and Bonerbo are the most eastern of the farms that are part of the PepsiCo FAB project.
Being part of Leaf, we have an integrated farm management approach and integrated pest management approach. So we haven't sprayed any insecticides on the farm since 2016, no slug pellets since 2017. We have about 50 kilometres of grass margins around the farm to try and increase beetles and predator insects that can control aphids. We've always tried to look after the ground that we farm, and so it's been a big part of what we do is to try and look after the environment and biodiversity on the farms.
Bonerbo Farm, nestled in Fife's coastline, has been in the same family for over 100 years.
Being custodians of the land for a generation, we have a certain responsibility to maintain, enhance and improve the land that we are looking after. I think biodiversity is key in a lot of this. We not only are providing a food supply from the land, but also an aesthetic value from the land also.
The monitoring is a really important part of the project because that's how we're managing that it's actually having a success. So for the project, we're predominantly looking at grey partridges, breeding birds and invertebrates. They're each an indicator species, so by looking at them, we should be able to tell the general health of farmland wildlife.
It's been a wonderful journey. We've all learned a lot, but the FAB project and PepsiCo's involvement has been really helpful. We've been growing oats specifically for Quaker for over 20 years now, and it's been a very important contract from the business point of view, but also a very important part of our farming operation.
So when you next tuck into your bowl of porridge, you can feel confident our farmers are not only producing oats, but also making a difference to nature recovery across our rural landscape.